What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the local meta reports here in St. Louis, Missouri. I am Brad, aka the Mayor of Lorcana and co-host of the Rules of Villainy podcast. If you are not familiar with this video series, this is a video series where each and every week I dive into the 3-0 decks in Disney Lorcana constructed throughout the week of leagues that we have here. We have a bunch of leagues that fire off, a bunch of great players who are generous enough to share their decks with me and allow this kind of content to be created for you. A little word of note here: if you are not a fan of the color Sapphire, this might not be the video for you, because every single deck, we have 5 decks today, it contains the color Sapphire in their deck. Even if you're not a fan, it's worth sticking around because you're going to want to be aware of what these decks are as we approach closer and closer to the set championship and the DLC. The Milwaukee is coming up sooner than you know it, so really excited about that. Before we get into those decks, a little bit of housekeeping that I have here. 2 events coming up here in the very, very near future, the next couple weeks, including this weekend coming up in Farmington Hills, Michigan. I was lucky enough to be asked to come up and cast a big 13K event with my friend Dakota from the Legends of the Inkwell, Luke Wonderland from Team Maelstrom, and JD So Shiny TCG is going to be there, as well as an artist, Christian Romero, who is got great art in the game. The Enchanted Genie, the Enchanted Diablo, the Enchanted Jafar from the set championships just recently, as well as a plethora of cards already in the game and the upcoming Maleficent Dragon. So definitely check that out. It's a 13K on Saturday. We have an 8K on Sunday. We have a 5K, as well as a free kids event, which I think might also be on Saturday. I could double check, but all the details are going to be in the description below. So if you're in the area or have the means to travel, definitely come check that out. I think on Saturday alone, we've already crossed the 70 mark the 70 players mark. I can't even talk this morning for that event. And I'm really, really excited to see that getting bigger and bigger as the weekend approaches. And I'm sure we're going to have even more as the weekend comes. So definitely check that out. We'll be streaming it, I believe, on Twitch, and I'll get that information. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but we're there to stream it. So excited about that, as well as the following weekend, October 4th, a big extravaganza, the first set championship, the biggest set championship here I think St. Louis has ever seen, at Impact Gaming Center. It's on the Illinois side of the river in Fairview Heights, but not only will you be getting the Maleficent Dragon for the top 8, but you will be getting a Enchanted Elsa donated by Impact Gaming Center themselves for first place, as well as the patented, as Vince and Andy and we all like to say at the Rules of Villainy podcast, ticketing system that we've ran one time before. We talked about in the podcast this week, where wins and losses, everything, just being there, you all get tickets to put toward prizes that we have donated from us, from the community, from the store. All kinds of stuff. Enchanted Heroes, Jafar, Scars, Enchanted Alice from our friend Paul donated that. We'll have all kinds of stuff that is escaping me right now. We just got a goodie bag that could be some door prizes even this past weekend. So great event. Can't wait. Impact Gaming Center is a great store, and we're expecting it to be the biggest set championship that St. Louis has ever seen, and hopefully get us, on the map even wider, and hopefully attract you guys to come check out this great community that we have here. So that being said, long-winded intro here. Let's get into the decks. All right, our first deck comes from Ryan at Yeti Games, going 3-0 with Blurple. Just a little bit different from his Blurple deck last week at Bodach. He did add the Basil in. He took out the Ever As Before and changed some numbers around on some of the other cards. The one card that I think that he did add that I see here right away is Everybody's Got a Weakness, which is a 4-cost inkable action. Move 1 damage counter from each damaged character you have in play to chosen opposing character and draw a card for each damage counter moved this way. It's a spicy card in a deck that you don't really want to leave a whole lot of damage lingering on your side in the first place, because you always have the threat of the bell coming down and moving damage to finish off your characters. There is a lot of that happening, so I'm not sure of the value. I'm curious, Ryan, when you do watch this, to hear your results, if you got to use it. I know it's only a one of, so it's unlikely, but I like the idea. don't know if it paid off for you or not. One other card that he did add was the Basil, which is pretty common in the Blurple right now. The 1-drop Inkable Basil with support. He's a 2/1. He helps trade favorably into other things. So very, very good addition there. I don't know the matchups. I know this is not the deck he wanted to play. He said he forgot some cards, but I don't know if it was to this deck specifically or something else. But he played this. He played around with Everybody's Got a Weakness, and he got a 3-0. So congratulations to Ryan this week at Yeti. All right, moving on to Tuesday from the Collector Store in St. Peter's, we got Dylan going 3-0 again with Baja Blast Emerald Sapphire, as we saw this previous Friday night league where he also was successful with a little bit different. The only difference in this deck, other than a few numbers transposed with, say, the Ducks at the 4 slot, is the 1-drop Bobby Zimmerowski Spray Cheese Kid, Pauly Shore from a Goofy movie. He is a 1/2 that quests for 1, and when you play this character, you may draw a card and choose and discard a card. It is just a little bit of hand filtering at the beginning of the game in case you alter poorly and luck is not on your side. We are seeing a lot more Emerald Sapphire rise up in the ranks, and for good reason. This seems like a very fun deck to play. I have yet to put my hands on it, but it is something that is really, really exciting to me. I've always liked this John Silver, the 6-cost 5/5 from the first chapter, quest for 2, and gives Reckless on quest and play. The goal of the deck is to get that Clarabelle out there and just deal with your board in general with the Under the Sea Heads Held High combo in reverse order, of course, and replenishing your hand with that Clarabelle. What I find really, really interesting, especially in a meta where Amber Steel is very prevalent and hard to deal with, as we addressed on the podcast this week, is that you can sing Under the Sea on turn 3 with this Baymax shift. He's only running 2 of them now. Last week he was running 4, but if you have Tipo on 2 and you Baymax your 1-drop, you now have 8 cost on board that can sing together that Under the Sea. If you are looking at the nut drop from Amber Steel, which is what? Daisy, Tiana, or not Daisy, Aurora, Tiana, Lady, and Nala just coming out and threatening you with so much lore and the ink tax of challenging into any of those. So love that combo. Crazy that you can sing an 8-cost song on turn 3, but very much needed. Hyper specific to this deck alone, being that the Baymax is dual ink in the Emerald Sapphire colors, but a good combo nonetheless. So it would cripple. I would love to see. I'm sure it's happened and somebody has seen it in action. I need to see it happen myself just to see how crippling that could be. But other than that, yeah, you got your hard removal with Hades. Looks like he's upped his Hades up to 3. You got your welcomes to not only remove something from the opponent's board, make them draw 2 cards, and ideally you have Clarabelle on the board at the time so that you're drawing at the end of your next turn with it, or at the end of your turn with that Clarabelle. So really, really good deck. Really excited to see where it goes. I think it is a contender. I picked it to win Denver. Unfortunately, the 2 that made it into the top 8 did not get there, but they didn't have Dylan playing it. So we'll see this actually win Milwaukee, and that's really the idea of that alone is exciting to me. So congratulations to Dylan on his 3-0 this week, and we will be talking about this deck again a couple more times in this video. So stay tuned. All right, moving on to Thursday night at Bodach's Games, we have Rules of Villaini's own Reckless. Ron going 3-0 with another Emerald Sapphire deck. This deck, I believe, is card for card Jeremy's top 8 finish from the Club Lorcana podcast in PPG Denver. The one difference here is that, or a couple differences, but the main one is that Ron is running the Basil shift line from the 1-drop support that we talked about in Ryan's deck that Dylan actually omitted from his Friday deck to Tuesday, to the 6-drop shift line for Basil, which is a 4/5 quest for 2. And during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may pay 1 ink to have chosen opponent choose and discard a card. So a little bit of hand manipulation there with that strong body, 4/5 Basil out there, and being able to come out cheaper and sooner, especially with ramp. I mean, he comes out quicker anyway, but being able to shift him a lot sooner on that 1-drop just negates your opponent from being able to even play anything if they don't have any cards in hand. So a little bit more discard here in this package. Of course, they're running the Baymax as well. The 4 of both the Gentleman Duck and the Antique Aficionado at the 4-drop. John Silver, of course, Clarabelle, as we talked about before, to replenish your hand based on your opponent's hand size at the end of your turn, which you can manipulate with your welcome. A little bit of anti-synergistic with the discard from Basil, But at that point, if you got Clarabelle on board and the ability to control their board anyway with the heads held high and under the sea combo, you're cooking. And it's a very, very good deck. So congratulations to Ron. Picking Jeremy's deck for sure is going to be a surefire bet that you're going to go far with it. 3-0 at Bodach. I did not have the pleasure or displeasure of getting to play Ron that night, but yeah, he was cooking. So congratulations to him.
All right, moving on to Manticore Game Shop. Also on Thursday nights out in O'Fallon, Missouri, John went 3-0 with Blurple for the second week in a row. I believe last week it was at the collector store on Tuesday, but this time he got it done without the duck at the 4-drop, the 4-cost uninkable aficionado of antiques. He completely omitted him from this deck, changed some numbers around, and got the job done. He's running the 1-drops of the Basil and Rafiki, as we come to expect. Tipo and Sail on 2. Vision of the Future is something I probably need to work into my Blurple, because I've been this Thursday night, I was bricking a little bit too hard and not finding the cards that I needed, or finding my second star a little too early and not being able to set up the board to sing it. He is only running 1 second star here as well, because he is running 2 of the Finders Keepers, which is something that I should also consider throwing back into mine. But ultimately, yeah, this looks like a pretty standard Blurple that he piloted well. He did tell me that he did have a bye, but I said that doesn't matter to me. John, 3-0 is 3-0. You got it done with, the 2 hardest rounds of the night for you. So whether or not you got that first round bye doesn't matter, because the next match was going to be going against a winning deck. So this is the Blurple that we have talked about for the last couple of weeks, and continuing to see success. So maybe I should align my deck with this, because I am not getting over that hump in the mirror match. I tell you what. Congratulations to John. I'm sure we'll see you on here again next week. And finally, back at the collector store on their Friday Night League, Justin gets it done 3-0 with Emerald Sapphire once again. And I have to tell you, I reached out to him before the league kicked off that night. I messaged him on Discord and said, hey, if you can win with something other than Baja or Blurple, that would be great, because I would like a little bit of diversity in my video. But he said, nah, that's a hard bargain in this meta right now. And he got it done, of course, because this is a deck that is hard to deal with. We've already talked about it twice in this video, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it the rest of the meta. It's a really, really exciting deck. The one difference that I wanted to point out in this one specifically, that got me excited when he shared it at the end of the night, was his 8-cost inkable Radigan Greedy Genius from the Reign of Jafar set. He is a 6/7 with ward that quests for 4. The only caveat is you have to ink for turn, or ink anytime during your turn, to keep him on board. Otherwise, he gets banished. Not hard to do. You have all kinds of options here to draw, especially in the Emerald Sapphire deck here with Clarabelle refilling your hand. You surely get an inkable card to do that, and you'll already be ahead on ink so that you can play him a little bit earlier than usual. But yeah, I talked to Justin. Justin said, yeah, it's a one of. It does work in the mirror. I'm trying to run it in Blurple right now. It's probably, as the card says, greedy to be doing it that way, but I just really, really like this card. He's a 6/7 with Ward. He's impossible to deal with, and if you turn him sideways, they're going to have to run multiple cards into it just to take him out at that point in the game, because it's just such a heavy hitting card. So I don't know what else to say. Nothing else really stands out in a contrast to the decks that we've talked about already. Similar, very good players piloting these decks here, and just very, very exciting to see that Spice card in there. So congratulations to Justin once again. And I'm sure, being the caliber player that he is, we'll be talking about him and the adjustments that he's making between now and Milwaukee, or maybe not, because he's going to try to keep that spice to himself, as you should. You want to hit people with the surprise as you're playing them. So, congratulations to Justin. Let's move to the outro. And that's right. That's going to do it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for any kind of content here on the Rules of Villainy channel. We have the podcast proper, of course, Deck Test Tuesdays with Kirsten and Andy on Tuesday, and of course the Meta Report on Mondays, as well as other ideas we just have not had the time to put together and and get out in the world. But we're cooking, and we're hoping that you enjoyed that content as well. Thank you to everybody who submitted their decks to allow me to create this content for you, because I do enjoy celebrating the community. We wouldn't be what we are today without you and this great game. Again, if you are available this weekend and have the means to travel, please come consider checking out the Glass City Showdown up in Farmington Hills, Missouri, Michigan, and check out the description below. We'll have all the details. If you can't make it there, we will be streaming it, and I would love to see you in the chat. My first time casting a big gig on my own without Vincent Andy behind me to support me, so would love to see you there. And as well as the Impact Gaming Center Set Championships on October 4th, with all kinds of prizing from Rules of Villainy and the community alike, and Impact Gaming Center themselves. So yeah, I think I covered all the bases. Thank you for sticking around through this video, and I hope to see you again next week. Until then, happy questing.